Hello dear children, welcome back. Hope you are staying safe by staying home. This is Masuma from English department and today I am here to continue our thrilling story, Snake Trouble. Children, do you remember the author's name? Yes, Ruskin Bond. Very good. Let us jog our memory and recall the story quickly. So this story is about a boy who's traveling to Lucknow from Dehradun along with his grandparents. Why is he traveling to Lucknow, children? To meet his aunt Ruby. Did you know that Lucknow is the capital of Uttar Pradesh? Comment below the capital of your state. I would like to know that. This boy is a pet lover. He is traveling by train, so couldn't take any of his unusual pets like the monkey or the python with him. Now, does he have any pet accompanying him? Yes, a bird. Can you remind me which bird was it and what is its name? Oh yes, it's a parrot. And the name is Popeye. Well, thank you children for helping me out there. So Popeye has had some fun at the Dehradun railway station by imitating the whistles of the train and the guard. When the guard actually blew the whistle, some passengers mistook it for Popeye's prank and did not board the train and hence were left behind. Board the train. Board a train means to get onto a train. Another meaning of board would be a flat, thin, rectangular piece of plastic or wood. We got another homophone. Board also means a team of people, like a board of 7 members. Now I want you to look for more such homophones and tell me in the comment section below. I will read them all. Popeye did not like the vendors or other people poking their heads through the window. It was a night journey and Grandma stretches on the berth and covers herself with a warm blanket as she is tired and wants to get some sleep. Our little boy, who is the author telling us his story, is hungry. He pulls out the food hamper from under the berth, anticipating to find some delicious parathas, omelette and chicken curry. But to his surprise, he finds a python instead. There is no sign of their dinner. He let out a gasp of surprise. A gasp of surprise means a short, quick breath through the mouth. What would you do if you were in his place? Correct. You inform an adult about the situation. So the boy told his grandfather that the python has eaten up their dinner. Grandfather tells him that pythons don't eat parathas and omelette. Do they, children? Of course they don't. What do pythons eat, children? They eat insects, lizards, rats. Yeah, mostly it eats warm-blooded live prey. Upon seeing the hamper, Grandfather says that this is an old hamper stored in the storeroom. They had brought the wrong hamper to the journey and the food hamper must have left behind. Saying this, Grandfather snapped the hamper shut and pushed it beneath the berth. Snapped the hamper shut means to shut the hamper quickly. Grandfather said, don't let grandmother see him. Don't let her know about it because she might think they brought him along on purpose, wantedly. Here we get to know that grandfather and the boy are avid pet lovers. This python has been their pet and perhaps grandmother doesn't seem to approve of it as a pet, as pythons can be dangerous. After around midnight, grandfather and the boy hear a clamor at the end of the corridor. Clamor, C-L-A-M-O-U-R, or C-L-A-M-O-R. Clamor. It means a loud noise made by a lot of people. Say it with me. Clamor. And another word we learn here is corridor. C-O-R-R-I-D-O-R. Corridor. It means a long narrow passage, like in the trains or at your school or in some homes. Corridor. Hearing the clamor, the boy and grandfather got up to see what was going on. They could hear the cries of snake, snake. The boy quickly checked the food hamper and found that the lid was open. He told grandfather that their python is not in the hamper anymore. Upon hearing this, grandfather dashed out of the compartment in his pajamas. This shows the hurry he was in. Dashed out means ran out quickly and suddenly. Dashed out. The boy also followed him. About a dozen passengers had gathered near the washroom. Trying to stay calm, grandfather inquired if everything is fine. One of the passengers informed him that they were unable to go to the washroom as there is a huge snake in there. Grandfather said that he would want to have a look and claimed that he knows all about snakes as he has a pet python, and we know that. So grandfather enters the washroom followed by the boy, but they don't find the snake there. It must have escaped through the ventilator. Another word, ventilator. V-E-N-T-I-L-A-T-O-R. Ventilator means an opening for letting fresh air in. Ventilator. Grandfather informed the panicked passengers that it is nothing to worry about. Perhaps it was just a young harmless python. Saying this, they headed back to their compartment, only to find grandmother furiously sitting up on her berth. She scolded them as they had told her that they left the creature behind, but it was on the train with them all the time. Though grandfather tried to explain that they had nothing to do with the python getting on the train, grandmother remained unconvinced. Unconvinced means not ready to believe something. Unconvinced. What will be the opposite word for it, children? Yes, convinced. Convinced, unconvinced. Anyway, grandfather said that there is nothing to worry about as the python must have fallen out of the washroom's window and is gone, and grandmother will never see it again. Because the train is moving fast, and if something falls out of the window of a moving train, it is left behind. As grandfather is saying this, the train comes to a grinding halt. Come to a grinding halt. What does this mean? This means that to first slow down and then stop suddenly. How the train stops, children? Even after it slows down, it stops with a jerk. Okay. Grandfather looks out of the window and finds no station there. Grandfather and the boy rush towards the engine. Grandfather offered his help to the engine driver, saying that he knows everything about engines because he is in that profession. He is also an engine driver. But the engine driver was speechless. The python had curled itself around his legs. The driver was too frightened to move. Grandfather dragged the snake off the driver and dumped it into the boy's hands. Here you will notice B-O-Y boy is singular. B-O-Y-S boys is plural. Whereas POY'(S) is used to denote possession of a boy. For example, the boy's hat is blue. Grandfather dumped it into the boy's hands. Now the engine driver sinks to the floor, pale and shaking with fear. Before the astonished driver could protest, Grandfather set the engine into motion so that they wouldn't be late to meet Aunt Ruby waiting for them in Lucknow. Set the engine in motion means to start the engine to make the train move. So they continued their journey from Dehradun railway station to Lucknow to meet their Aunt Ruby. With Popeye and grandparents, it was a joyful ride, and the python made it more memorable journey. But the hero is brave grandfather, saving the day by moving away the python from the engine driver and running the engine himself. So children, we learned that we should not keep harmful and dangerous animals as pets. Do you remember in the previous video, we learned that pets are kept for company and entertainment. So they should not be harmful or dangerous to anyone. I have truly enjoyed this story. Hope you loved it too. Comment below and let me know whether you want more such interesting lessons. Now we shall have a recapitulation with a flowchart. Here we go.
Snake Trouble by Ruskin Bond. This is a story about a boy who is an unusual pet lover. He is traveling from Dehradun to Lucknow by train. Along with his grandparents and pet parrot, Popeye. The train journey begins now. Popeye imitates the whistles of the train and the guard at the station and has fun. Grandmother stretches to get some sleep and says the dinner is in the food hamper below the berth. Parathas, omelette and some chicken curry. But there is no dinner. There is a python in the hamper. Grandfather says it's the wrong hamper they have got. Around midnight, there is a clamor near the washroom. Cries of snake, snake by some passengers. Grandfather and the boy rush to help the panic-stricken passengers. But there is no snake in the washroom. It has escaped from the ventilator. So grandfather acts calm. And informs that maybe it was a harmless young python and nothing to worry about. They return to their compartment. Grandmother is angry about the python on the train. Grandfather explains that it was not their plan to get the python with them. As they speak, the train comes to a grinding halt. Grandfather and the boy rush to the engine room. They find the engine driver speechless, as the python has curled around his legs. Grandfather drags the python off the driver and dumped it in the boy's hands. Grandfather offers to drive the train as the train driver is very scared. They have to reach Lucknow on time. Grandfather releases the brakes and sets the train in motion. New words we learnt. Imitate. To copy the behavior of someone or something. Berth, a long train seat for sleeping on. Help yourselves to. Take some of the food. Hamper, a large basket with a lid used to carry food. Tugged at, pulled at. Gasp, a short, quick breath through the mouth. Snapped, the hamper shut. Closed the hamper quickly. Clamor, a loud noise made by a lot of people. Corridor, a long, narrow passage. Dashed out, ran out quickly and suddenly. Ventilator, an opening for letting fresh air in. Unconvinced, not ready to believe something. Come to a grinding halt, to first slow down and then stop suddenly. Set the engine in motion. Start the engine to make the train move.